Yes, so good evening, my people. I welcome you to another edition of the Jagbanjantis show. Tonight is a special edition, and I have with me on the show a special guest. Èmi nìkan kọ́ mo máa dá ṣètò lálẹ́ yìí. Please, as you are joining the show, kindly share on your platforms, invite your friends to connect, because tonight is going to be efficacious. Oh my letikelale. Tonight we'll be discussing something very interesting, this guest I'm bringing on the show tonight caused a big wahala on the social media sometime last week, and I thought, you know what, come to this show and come and finish what you started. Tonight we have a lot to cover, so we won't waste much time. We won't wait for people to join. Àwọn tó bá pẹ́ dé wọn máa bá wa lórí ètò. We need to get going as quickly as we can. As you all know, this show is sponsored by Yettis Kitchen, the best Afro-British restaurant in the whole of UK. They are located in Manchester, but they are now the best in UK. Without wasting much time, let me quickly get to the commercial room where our sponsor is waiting for us, and then when I return, we will get straight into the show. Yettis Kitchen, it's okay.
Yettis Kitchen, ilé oúnjẹ àrà ọ̀tọ̀ tó kalẹ̀ sílùú Manchester. Chilled out Afro and English fusion bar with great food, music and movies. Kò sí oúnjẹ tẹ́ fẹ́ tẹ́ ò bá lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Serving the best fusion of African and English delicacies bíi jollof rice, ẹ̀wà àgànyìn, ẹ̀fọ́ rírò, jerk chicken, suya, ayamashi, goat pepper soup, bọ́gà lóríṣiríṣi àti àwọn ọtí ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe fẹ́ sí ni, eating, take away or delivery, gbogbo ẹ̀ ló bá wọn lára mu. Oríṣiríṣi ètò ìgbádùn ni wọ́n sì ń ṣe lọ́dọ̀ wọn bíi movie nights, live jazz music, game nights àti Lego play area for children to relax while you eat. Their opening times are Monday to Sunday, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Address one 299 Liverpool Road, Eccles, Manchester, M3002N. Telephone 0161 706 0062 tàbí 074-603-53448. Ẹ tún lè kàn sí wọn lórí email wọn ní food@yettiskitchen.com. For more information, visit their website www.yettiskitchen.com. Yettis Kitchen, the best Afro-British restaurant in Manchester.
Yes, so thank you very much for staying with me on the show. Without wasting much of our time, I'd like to introduce my guest tonight. We've come way back. He's my childhood friend. We grew up together in the same estate. We were in the same boys group together until we went our separate ways, as we grew older. And then, as fate will have it, we met again here in the UK. This man is a man of many parts, man of many talent. But first and foremost, only sense. And as you know, I only move around with people with brain, and over time that has rubbed off on me. Is a tech guru, is a music producer. We were supposed to do a song together. Eventually that didn't happen until he moved to Adugbo Awon Olowo, and I couldn't reach him anymore. He's also a photographer. He's a musician, an instrumentalist. He plays at least 2 instruments that I know, piano and the bass guitar. And lastly, he is a voiceover artist. and this is the best part of him that I like. That's why I call him the man with the golden voice. And máa gbọ́ lálẹ́ tàbá rẹ̀yìn tó jẹ́ wípé ẹ máa ń tètè wet ẹ ń láti stay strong tonight o, because ohun eléyìí ó máa worry yín díẹ̀. Now, without wasting much of your time, I'd like to bring on the show I
don't know that one.
ọ̀gbẹ́ni mi ò bá rí má dáṣẹ́rú lálẹ́ yìí o. I'd like to bring on the show my brother, my friend, Mr. Femi Aboluwarin.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
My brother, you're welcome tonight.
Thanks, bro.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining me tonight. Perhaps there is anything I missed out in the introduction.
I was giggling. You introducing me actually. Yes, I'm a husband, and I'm married to Ayo.
All right.
So, that's it.
Thank you very much. You all heard him. He's married though. So ohun yẹn kàn lè move yín lásán ni. Let it end there. Kò sọ́nà ńbẹ̀ o. Right. Our topic for tonight is titled Plan B, Immigration. My brother, ìlú ti dàrú, ìlú ti bàjẹ́. Things have gone worse than we even left it. And as such, everyone wants to leave the country. Even recently, a top pastor came out and advised people to get a plan B, to find somewhere else to go, because other people don't manage Nigeria, want to yawori, and everyone is doing everything possible to get out. But my question is that enough? The state of the nation, is that enough to make people just want to jump on the plane or the boat or swim and just leave the country without knowing what is lying at the other end for them? So I'll use my own as an example. When I was about to leave, obviously I didn't tell anyone. I was sorting my visa and stuff like that, and then eventually when I got my visa, I just thought maybe one or two people can dagbere fún wọn, and one of the persons I met and spoke with, he said to me, do you really know what you are doing? Because he lived abroad. He used to live abroad, and he said, because I think you are living certainty for uncertainty. After he said that statement to me, I replied him immediately by saying, you know what, I have tried certainty and it didn't work. I have nothing to lose if I try uncertainty. That was my own state. What would you say to them?
Okay, thanks for the question. So the thing is, everyone is different. Everyone's circumstances is different. There are reasons and motivations for wanting to live is different. When most of us were very young, I don't know, years ago, I wasn't married. I didn't have any responsibilities. It was just me. Let me just come. Now, some people have responsibilities. They have children. I have a doctor friend that moved to the UK 2 years ago. She said to me that a day happened when a child was trying to do something, and the quality of what the child was trying to do, the way the child was speaking English, broke our hearts that my child has no future in this country. And that was at that point that the light bulb went off in her head that she had to leave Nigeria and provide a better future for our children. So our motivation was town, mommy, the way my kids are going, I don't see anything down the line. It wasn't even about the insecurity of the nation or thereabout. Some other people just are fed up, basically. They've tried everything and it's not working. So everybody's circumstance is different, and I want to respect that before I start. Because if we just lump everybody under the same umbrella, we might actually miss something here. But the mindset to have is that there's nowhere in the world that is easy. You know, people on Facebook, on Instagram, they make it appear as though living abroad is easy. You know, it's not easy in Lagos and it's not easy anywhere. Now, I'm not being negative, I'm just being realistic. If you can't make it in Lagos, trust me, you equally struggle in England or America or Canada. Now, the opportunities may be there, but it's not about the opportunities, it's more of the mindset. So you have to leave Nigeria with the mindset of where I am going, I'll have to do my very best to make sure that I succeed in this land I'm going into. Now, when I also say that, there's a tendency to think, anything, whether it's illegal, whether it's to speak with somebody for paper. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying if there are X, Y, Z clear things to do, I am going to be resolute to do those things properly and follow through things until I get to my dreams in that sense, you know. So I think that's one of the best mindsets to have when you come and everything, because that will make it easy for you when challenges come to remind yourself that I had a reason for coming here. You know, and I'll make this thing work. You know, when you feel like people are treating you unfairly because you are different from them, all those things don't matter to you. You know, when circumstances don't go the way you plan, you dust yourself up and pick yourself up again. It makes you more driven to want to actually succeed at whatever you do. If it means retraining to become a nurse, retraining to become an IT engineer, or whatever the case may be, you will give it all it takes. So it's not a case of once I come here, everything will be easy. Yes, maybe NEPA 24/7, no more security issues, no more witches and wizards disturbing you. Yes, those things are there, just the environment. But if you're not driven or motivated, if you are lazy in Lagos, you will still struggle in Los Angeles. It doesn't matter if it's now because you're abroad, everything will fall into place. It doesn't happen that way. The people you're coming to meet, they are not looking at you and saying, oh yeah, I'm abroad, and we'll let everything be okay for you. No, they equally want to make their own life work. So you're competing with people that already know what is happening, that have a lot of things already in the back burner for them that will work for them. So if you think, if I just come and everything just fall, it doesn't work that way. You still have to be driven, motivated to not give up and to make life work for you and for your family.
Thank you very much. So the mindset is the grass is not always green at the other end.
Yes, but at least there's water at the other end, and I can water it.
And then the water, so they have to water it, go to green, you know. Okay. And just to back up your point, few of my guys that have crossed over here, when you ask them, they say, they pay air fire, but I actually prefer. Can't she go not do color, so they still prefer the other one, you know. So and that is the idea. People should have the mindset that look, it's not going to be rosy. More and when you come prepared like that, anything this country throws at you or the new challenge throws at you, you'll be able to handle it. Thank you for that. So apart from this strong resolve that people should have from the start to succeed, what is another important thing, critical thing that you think they have to put in place before making this move?
Well, so the reason why I wrote this article or this post that has gone everywhere and so strangely, I didn't even expect it, was because somebody was ranting on my timeline about a relative they had that had moved with their family to the UK, and they didn't have any plan, obviously, from what the person didn't say that, but it was obvious they didn't have a plan because they've arrived for almost 6 months now. The person has not found a job. They are still squatting with their relative in this house. Exactly. So, but they don't know how to say, you guys have to leave. Now, they've not found, the husband has not found a job, the wife has not found a job. So anyway, so when I saw that rant that person was putting on the wall, the first thing that came to my mind is another person that has entered a plane at Murtala Mohammed Airport without a plan. You know, so I think the most important thing is before you leave Nigeria, please have a plan. You are moving your life permanently, ideally, you know, and you can't not look before you leave. You have to have a plan. What kind of environment are you going into? What are the people like there? What is the town you want to go into in the UK? The UK is a very big place, you know. Even England is very big. So what part of England do you want to go? The north, the south, the west, the east of England? Okay, fine. Even if you pick a city like London, for example, what part of London do you want to live in? You know, sorry, people are complaining that there's echo.
Yeah, so
echo is coming from. Anyway, but I was saying, it's a case of planning and having a plan from before you leave Nigeria. You have to, if it means calling people that already live there, people that you already know there, ask them questions, you know, ask them direct and honest questions. There are no stupid questions. Questions like, you know, do you, you know, what is the rent like? How much money do I need to bring with myself from Nigeria? All these kind of things. You have to ask questions, because if you don't ask those questions, you'll be amazed at how much you don't really know before you arrive in the country you're going into. You know, my kids, I'm coming with children. What kind of schools exist? Do we pay school fees? What are the school fees like? What is rent like? You have to ask so many questions and have a plan, you know, before you arrive in the UK. What kind of job do you want to do? Okay, the skills you have right now, will they be transferable where you're going into? If they're not transferable, what do you need to learn before that, between now that you're making your plans and when you eventually leave? So you just have to have a plan. You just can't upskill, unload your life from Nigeria and just move to the UK without having a plan, or US or wherever else you're going to.
So this question you are saying they should ask, where? Do they just call random people or go and read blogs, or, you know?
You can ask from people in the UK. You can read blogs. So the thing is, somebody once said years ago that I read that you are five people away from the help you need. You'll be amazed that somebody that you know on your Facebook timeline may know something you don't know. So just put it on your timeline. Does anybody know anyone that lives in, say for example, I want to move to Birmingham. Does anybody know anyone that lives in Birmingham? You'll be amazed that somebody knows someone that lives in Birmingham that might be able to connect you to ask the questions you want to ask. Now, UK is also a very organized place. There are so many websites for everything. So in terms of immigration, for example, there's gov.uk that details everything about living in the UK, starting a business, tax, everything that is legal for government related in that sense. There's Zoopla, there's and rightmove.co.uk for accommodation, for example. There are so many websites that you can actually go to, but again, if you don't know, you might not know where to turn to. So it's always good to have to know someone that lives in the country you want to go to, and specifically the town you might want to go to, and ask them questions.
Okay, thank you very much. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. Ara àwọn condiment tó fi ń garnish orí burúkú ni. So don't close your mouth, ask question, and you'll be surprised that, you know, somebody beside you has that information that you need. There's this another question I want to ask you, bro. Now they are here, and then the pressure to succeed start. People at home are looking up to them to start sending money. They have their own set target also to meet. How does things work here? Does prayer work?
Well,
is this a step-by-step environment or luck, or they can just sow seed or pray their way through the situation? Is it possible for them to even achieve, say, in 5 years what took some people 20 years to gather? How does it work?
So I'm a realist, but I'm also a man of faith. So prayer, like the Yorubas will say, what is good and what is not good. You know, prayer, some things you can pray, but some things are common sense. You know, if somebody says, put your hand in fire, and you say, I pray that the fire will not burn me in Jesus' name. Well, fine. Maybe the fire may not burn you, I don't know, but it's just stupidity for you to put your hand in fire and expect that prayer will not work. So some things you can pray about, but some other things are following step-by-step things. You know, and you can't, there are no shortcuts to a lot of things in Western countries. You can't keep process. If
no shortcut.
You have to spend 6 years on this category or 5 years on this category before you get indefinite leave to remain, i.e. you don't need any visa to work anymore. You know, you can't cheat the process. You can't say, let me do a double promotion, let me fast track. It's not possible.
So you can't pay somebody to help you carry one file to...
You can't do any of those things. So there are are countries that have laws in place, and those laws are designed to actually make things work for you. It may appear as though it's taking forever, it's taking a long time, but eventually you will get there. Everybody has gone through that same phase before they got to the phase where they've gotten to. So again, you can't compare yourself to somebody that arrived in 1994 or 2004 or 2014. You are just arrived in 2021. They have, a little bit of rope ahead of them. They've gone further down the road. So you can't compare yourself with them. You have to stay in your own lane and build your own track record until you get to where you want to get to in that sense. So don't make the mistake of thinking, after 1 year, I will just become a big boy like they do in Hollywood film. Person goes to America after 1 year, it's back with a Prado G. That's Nollywood, unless they're doing Yahoo. But for most people, it doesn't work that way.
Bro, let me share this. I watched on Instagram, I think last week, one guy was sitting on his bed. I was like, he remembers when he was still young and his uncle came home one time and he was just bragging about, and people were expecting so much from him, but it wasn't forthcoming. And then he told his mom that, Mama, don't worry, when I get there, when I get abroad, under 6 months, I will build house for you, I will buy you this and stuff like that. And the guy, after I said that, he laughed. He said, I don't do it 10 years, I never even get papers, so I never even go home.
Yeah.
So for here, so I never even get car. Talk to say I go buy for person.
Yeah.
It's funny, but that is the reality.
That's the reality. Something you also touched on in that joke about I've been here for 10 years and I don't have papers. Again, please don't leave Nigeria with the mindset of Mufewaha and I want to get stuck here. Because trust me, especially in England, for example, you are deceiving yourself and you're wasting your time. If you come in as an illegal and you overstay, you have to spend at least 20 years. I think before 5 or 4 years ago it was 10 years. At least 10 years as an illegal. After 10 years they'll naturalize you as indefinitely to remain. But now it's been increased to 20 years. It's
long story.
Worth it to waste 20 years of your life. You left Nigeria as a 54-year-old man. Now you're 54 before you can actually work legally, because you spend the next 20 years of your life doing jobs that have no visibility. Your employers may treat you anyhow. They don't give a hoot about you because obviously you're under the radar in that sense. So if you really want to do that, it's not sensible. There are so many options to come into this country by. So it's not really, doesn't make any sense for anybody to come to this country to think, I'll just come and get stuck here, and you're running from police, you don't have peace of mind, immigration comes to your work, you're scared, all those kind of funny things.
Thank you very much. Now let's talk about jobs. They are here now, and many of them are coming from say banking industry, from big boys and stuff like so to say, and then they arrived here, some with 2 master's degrees, and suddenly it's a shock to them that and then the jobs they are pushing at you are like healthcare assistant, warehouse care, royal mail, bro. Is this a sign of apada si buruku, or this is how you start? Is it normal for them to think they will start from the top, or not everybody will start from the bottom, so to say? Because if I use myself as an example, at least before I came, be junior staff in UBA Bank. I've worked briefly at the Oyo State Secretariat, but when I got here, the first job I started with was as a street cleaner. If you saw me then, I was pushing that trolley with shovel rigs and everything like that. From Lincoln to Victoria, Westminster, Buckingham Palace, from every day 2 p.m. to 9:30. That was my shift. Every single day. But teacher in fact by me, that's when I left. So, but it didn't face me or anything like that. I was prepared to start from, I was coming with the mindset of, look, this is a new beginning for you. So you just have to get wherever you get. And guess what? The guy that took me to this job said, Laila Onwoleshe, you would prefer to eat sand than do it. I don't wash out, but it took me there. Was I wrong to have started from that level?
So everybody is different. That's what I was trying to establish at the very beginning. different people come in through different means. There are different immigration categories. Now, if you've come in illegally...
No, I came as a student.
Okay, so if you come in as a student, the first headache you will have is that your ability to work is pegged to 20 hours.
20 hours, yes.
Now, the average job in this country is between 40 to 60 hours per week. So that means that you can't even earn more than half of anything. Now, you may choose to work more than 20 hours, but the paper trail leaves evidence in this country.
Exactly.
When it's time for you to leave your student visa to anything else, the Home Office will dig those things out. And
exactly.
They'll penalize you for that. So if you come in as a student, by default, there's a limit to what you can already do. And it's unfortunate, that's how it is in that sense. Now, if you're lucky and you come in with your spouse, if you have a spouse, by being a dependent on your visa, your spouse has no restrictions on their own visa. They can do any amount of work. So you have that sense of there's someone in your family that can support you financially while you're trying to be a student in that sense. Now, let's move to the other categories. There are so many other categories. There's tier 1, tier 2, and many other specialized categories here and there. If you come in through that way, it's likely that you have an employer already waiting for you. So your circumstance may be different. But even as at that, note that your UK experience is very limited. So you still have to drop to some particular level. Now, that level may not be as bad as someone that is starting from afresh, from Nigeria in that sense. But again, you have to start from somewhere, which may not necessarily be the place that you have in mind. Everybody has to go through that at some point in time. Now, if you're also changing careers completely, trust me, everybody starts from the bottom. I made a career change in 2014. I started at the very bottom. My salary dropped by more than half. But I had a wife that was working, so we were able to rough it. And my mentor told me it would take only at least 3 years. After 3 years, it'll be flying. And what the guy said was true. After year 3, I was just changing jobs and my salary was doubling with almost every new job change, So all I'm trying to say is that everybody has a different starting point, but don't think that when you come into the country, you must come and struggle. No, it doesn't have to be that way too. I also know that there are so many terrible Nigerians that will tell you, when I came home, I suffered, you have to suffer too. It doesn't have to be that way. If you have information, if you have the right guidance, you'll be amazed how far you can actually go in a short space of time. Let me quickly cite one example. My wife has a doctor friend that was supposed to come from Nigeria to come and work here, and she had been given a job contract somewhere in Newcastle and everywhere in Newcastle. She sent the contract to a friend to review the contract, and that one told her, no, you can't be paid this amount of money. This amount of money is what is paid to people that just finished medical school. You have been a consultant in Lagos for almost 8 years. No, so you need to go back and demand for this. They've not provided accommodation for you. They need to provide accommodation for you and your family. And she rewrote our entire contract. Will you be amazed that this person actually came into this country to begin a 60k per annum job? This is someone coming into the UK for the very first time. She's never been to the UK before. She started on 60k per annum. This is what will take some other people at least 5 years to get there.
Yeah.
And what they were offering at the beginning was 25k. So you can see the leap between 25k and 60k, also with accommodation provided for her, because someone gave her guidance. So my point is, everybody's bottom is not always going to be the same. But if you have the right guidance, you can be sure that your bottom may not be too low. And you'll be amazed that you may even get something that is commensurate to where you're coming from. So just trust God. These are the times when you may have to pray, but importantly, keep your eyes open. It's not about seed or sowing. You may sow seed and still, being misinformed.
So everything also boils down to them coming correct.
Yes.
Because that helps you in terms of where you can reach out to. Thank you very much. So talking about, you mentioned, you touched briefly on something earlier, finance. Should people come with money when they are coming? When they get here, don't forget, kò sí náà ló lé wọn níbi tó ti ń bọ̀. Right, and some will sell everything they have and even borrow with the hope that wọ́n bá ti débí wọ́n máa dá padà. And then getting down here, wọ́n rí wípé from the first day táwọn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀, apart from people who have somewhere to stay with, àwọn tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí incur bills láti ìgbà tán ti dé, wọ́n á rí pé look, kò ṣeé dúró wò, even they can't fulfill the repayment promises that they made to people that they borrowed money from. Also, we have the living costs, we have bills and things. What what would you advise people to guide against in terms of finance, living cost, bills, and things like that? Because
yeah,
and they are coming from an environment, for example, where they pay rent once in a year. One wa debi wọ́n rí pé every 30 days ni kò tó díjú kò tó là báyìí. Èmi ò mọ̀ bí calendar Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ sọ wípé 1000 days is like a night. Pákó bá kúkú yọ̀ǹda ru táìmù yẹn fáwà because kò yé mi tó díjú kò tó là báyìí bí mi ti pé. What do you have to say in this regard?
So again, it's down to planning. Don't come to the UK without doing the maths, doing the proper plans before you leave Nigeria. I also would not advise anybody to go and get into debt to emigrate in that sense. If you're going to do the Canadian thing, for example, where they require you to have money in your account, be sure you have the money. Be sure whoever is borrowing the money is a considerate person that will give you time to be able to repay your loans. But the thing is, the UK... Oh, let me say pound sterling. Let me talk about pound sterling. When you talk about pound sterling to the average Nigerian, they see big money. But what they forget is that the moment that pound sterling leaves this country is when it becomes big money. When the pound sterling is in this country, it's as useless as it appears to be. Now, 60 pounds is like 60 naira. That's how I think about it. I don't think about it. But every Nigerian is thinking like times 720.
I'm not thinking
like 720. When you now come to the UK, you now see a shoe of 50 pounds that you really, really need in the winter. What you're thinking in your mind is times 720.
I should say plantain. Plantain.
So the thing is, within the system that the pound exists in, the money it goes very quickly. You know, there's house rent, like you said, Gio. It's every 30 months there's house rent, there's council tax, there's all the energy bills, there's maintenance bills. Sometimes if you live in environments where there's maintenance costs for the, so there's so many things, and that's minus transportation. If you live in London like I do, London is extremely expensive transportation wise. So it's a lot of costs that people don't think about to live or just to breathe and to exist. There was a year in my life, 2013, I sat down with the accountant. I was still self-employed then. I was doing my self-assessment tax at the end of the year, and the man was filling in the details, and I saw that I paid £14,000 for rent alone that year. And that thing made me almost feel like crying. How can I pay £14,000 in 1 year for rent? So all I'm trying to say is that it's not that cheap. So if you want to come into the UK without a job yet, without plans of how to sustain yourself, sustain your family, and on top of that, you've also borrowed money, you've gotten into debt, it's going to be a lot of stress on your life. And that's why people eventually come into the UK and settle for the first thing they get, because they think there's this pressure of survival, So you need to have a plan. You need to make sure that you're already secured a good job. You can see on paper what the job is paying you. You can go online and look for a house that will fit into the budget that you have every month for your rent, in that sense. Like you said earlier on, in Lagos it's 1 year in advance or 2 years in advance. It's not that way here, And we're talking about, if you live in London, for example, the average 2-bed in London is like 1,200 per month, or maybe even more. Depends on the area that you're living in. So, and if now I have a family of 3 children, ideally you're looking like a 3-bed house, which will be 1,300, 1,400 per month. So it's a lot of money that goes out of your account every month. That's just rent alone. In addition to so many other things you have to pay for. Children's childcare, for example. If you're going to childminder or nursery, it's a lot of money too.
So are there ways out? Bonsheli adjust. So for example, look at you cited an example of a couple coming, and then one of them is a full-time student, while the other one can do full-time job. Now one more. Now they have bills to pay. Obviously, maybe they didn't even pay the full fees, and once in outstanding school fees, living costs, and stuff like that. Now, for me, I will even advise them to add child-minding bills to it. I would rather they work like Beleshen law, Pada. So maybe somebody can, look after the kids, while the other one is away, and then this other one takes over. And so I mean, are there areas where costs can be cut down or totally eliminated?
Sorry, before I answer that question, I just want to say, please don't get me wrong, because it sound like we are painting a negative image of the UK. No, it's not as bad as, it's not like it's bleak and very bad. We're just trying to paint reality. So there are ways to cut down costs. One of the easiest things is pulling on the resources of people you already know. If you have family around, if you have friends that don't live too far away, they can always help. Now, sometimes also plugging yourself into communities, maybe like church, for example, you may end up finding that there are people in your church that can help. I used to know somebody in my former church that was a childminder, or not necessarily childminder, but people will drop their kids in the evening, she'll pick them from the same street, and they will stay there until the parents come back in the evening. That's it. So there are ways to find people to pull resources from. In this country, people also babysit. It may not be a lot of money, it may be cheaper than in nursery, but you may amazed that you might find someone that wants to babysit your children, or maybe the neighbors. And the reason why we're emphasizing this is because in this country, social services exist, and they exist to serve the needs of children. You can't leave your children at home. You can't say, I don't know, go and buy okra from the market and let me leave the child with earphones and iPad. I'll quickly go and come back. You can't leave the child at home by themselves unless if they're under 12 years old. So it's against the law. If the neighbor reports you, police will take the child from you, and social services will start caring for your own child. So all I'm trying to say is that I'm not trying to paint a negative image. All I'm just trying to say is that there are ways around it, but you may not know at the beginning because you don't know anybody yet. But if you're lucky to know people, you can always speak to some people and say, please, I have this new job, I'm doing this new training, I don't have time, I have to go at this time to pick up a child from school, can you please help? And maybe amazed how people actually rally around to say, okay, fine, you can drop your child with us, we'll let you take them to school or pick them from school. So there are little ways here and there, but if you don't know people and all of that, it may be a little difficult at the beginning until you find your footing.
Thank you very much. By now, I would expect kí love button kó ti fẹ́ já show yìí báyìí tó bá pẹ́ ń feel guest mi, but as usual ẹ láhùn gan and kò dẹ̀ cost in anything, please show love to my guest, otherwise àní gbẹ́lòmíì wá o kò easy now. And then you hear his voice, ṣé mo parọ́ ni, ṣe rí òun bó ṣe kí tó kanlẹ̀ dáadáa. Anyway, I'll allow my guests to maybe take a rest now and come share nǹkan sísàlẹ̀ báyọ̀ omi ni báyà red wine ni, while I quickly get to the commercial room and shout out Yettis Kitchen, our sponsor of this program. Don't forget, they now deliver UK-wide for any of your food supplies. Also, they can handle your occasions, wedding, birthday. They do small chops for your garden parties or anything like that. Just contact them and they will do you well. Also, for people visiting from Nigeria and you only have your Nigerian card with you, you can still shop on their website. They accept Naira payment on their website. Also, the book put together by Chef Yeti, African Vegan, is still available. You can pick up a copy and follow the recipe so that let me get to Yettis Kitchen, and when I return, we are still on the show with Mr. Femi Aboluwarin. Mumbo.
Playing from A17 Vogue.
Yettis Kitchen, ilé oúnjẹ àrà ọ̀tọ̀ tó kalẹ̀ sílùú Manchester. Chilled out Afro and English fusion bar with great food, music and movies. Kò sí oúnjẹ tẹ́ fẹ́ tẹ́ ò bá lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Serving the best fusion of African and English delicacies bíi jollof rice, ẹ̀wà àgànyìn, ẹ̀fọ́ rírò, jerk chicken, suya, ayamashi, goat pepper soup, bọ́gà lóríṣiríṣi àti àwọn ọtí ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe fẹ́ sí ni, eating, take away or delivery, gbogbo ẹ̀ ló bá wọn lára mu. Oríṣiríṣi ètò ìgbádùn ni wọ́n sì ń ṣe lọ́dọ̀ wọn bíi movie night, live jazz music, game night, àti Lego play area for children to relax while you eat. Their opening times are Monday to Sunday, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Address 299 Liverpool Road, Eccles, Manchester, M300QN. Telephone 0161 706 0062 tàbí 074 603 53448. Ẹ tún lè kàn sí wọn lórí email wọn ní food@yettiskitchen.com. For more information, visit their website www.yettiskitchen.com. Yettis Kitchen, the best Afro-British restaurant in Manchester.
Ìdálẹ́ mo wà yóò, fẹ́lẹ́ kan bá pé ó, ìwọ má ṣe bá o. Àjọmọ́ wa Olúwa sì mí délẹ̀, àjọmọ́ wa Olúwa sì mí délẹ̀, àjọmọ́ wa Olúwa sì mí délẹ̀ o, àjọmọ́ wa Olúwa sì mí délẹ̀ o. Àṣẹ. Bá mi kí èmi, ó bá mi kí bàmí, bá mi káyà mi, bá mi kọ́mọ mi. Àjùmọ̀rè Olúwa sí mi délé o, àjùmọ̀rè Olúwa sí mi délé o, ó yá. Ẹ bá mi kí èmi bẹ́ẹ̀ délé o, ẹ bá mi kí bá mi bẹ́ẹ̀ délé o.
Yes, my people. We're still on the show with Mr. Femi Aboluwarin. My brother.
Yes, sir.
Are you still here?
I'm still awake. I'm still here.
Thank you very much. I want you showing love. They are feeling you.
Thank you.
Now, let's move on to another interesting part that I want us to touch tonight. People are coming from an environment where abnormality is normal. They are coming with a different mentality. They are coming with a different cultural mindset. And then they are coming into an environment where things are in order. The thinking is different. The way you act is different. Now, I'll give you an example. There used to be a senior military officer that had issues at a time, and he felt, you know what, atakoro wonu adoni, kò lè mọ́mọ́ ẹ̀ wọ́. So he had to relocate his family, wife and kids. So he stayed back in Nigeria, and he was sponsoring them here, paying their rent and everything. He just had to make them get away from, that environment, because he can handle himself, but his family can be in danger. So he visited them one time, and then he went out one day, and when he came in, wọlé bọ́ bàtà sí ibì kan, and the wife went, no, o lè bọ́ bàtà, o lè kó bàtà síbẹ̀, kó bàtà ẹ kúrò rẹ̀. And the general was like, yé ẹ gbà mí, ṣé àbóhùn tí ń sick ni, so he was shocked. He now confided in his friend, who happens to be a legal practitioner. Ẹ̀yẹ́ wá sọ pé ọ̀gbẹ́ni má bá jà o, wọ́n ń fa wàhálà ní ibi pẹ̀lú obìnrin o, kó má lọ di iṣu tápá ò ní ká àwọn kan mẹ́rin, ra ná sùúrù sí i, tó bá ń kó má kó bàtà síbẹ̀, ìwọ náà ra kó bàtà ìkúrò ń bẹ and stuff. And the man was like, what? So he didn't see anything. He went back to Nigeria and then invited them to come over for, like holiday and things like that. And when they came, he just told the wife, you know what, I can't cover the cost anymore, so you guys are not going back. Because he could not come to terms with because of the environment. She dare not say that to me when níbi tí mo ní àdúgbò mi. Ṣé nǹkan tí wọ́n ń kọ́ yín ní ibẹ̀ yẹn nìyẹn? Now, he could pull the family back, but some people are here, we're stuck here. What do you think people need to know in terms of the cultural change and the mindset that works here? Kí ni wọ́n láti drop sí Muritala tí ó jẹ́ pé wọ́n máa dàbí pé wọ́n confiscate ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ wọn bọ́n ṣe ń gba àwọn ẹja gbígbé àti nǹkan tó ń fẹ́ kán gbé yẹn. What should they drop and not bring here?
Well, so there's a lot of things to drop. But before I actually even talk about things to drop, the thing I want to actually emphasize is something called cultural shock. You know, people say cultural shock a lot, but it's actually cultural shock because you'll be shocked by so many things that you see in the UK. The impression you get is that Oyinbo people are very advanced. But you'll be amazed at how very backward most of them are, and that's the first cultural shock. Most of them are very dirty. Some people only bathe maybe once a month or once a week, and they'll make an announcement of it. I had a bath today. I'm thinking, and so I bath every morning. What's the big deal? You know. So there's a lot of things that you will find to be very absurd and very odd. You know, one of the things I said in the note I wrote was PDA, for example, public display of affection. You're on the street, bus stop, two people start kissing themselves, they're putting their hands on cover on it, you're thinking, wait, you know, and it's a normal thing. Nobody will even look at them twice. So there are so many of those things, but all I can say is that you have to change the way you approach things. You can't approach things the way you approach things in Nigeria. One example is in Nigeria, weight is something we joke about. You know, you know, why are you losing weight? And we joke about those funny things. But you can't say that in a work environment in this country. You don't joke about people's weight. You don't joke about people's sexuality. You don't joke about people's religion. Gio, sorry, the echo is still a problem people are complaining about.
I really don't know what else to do, you know. I don't know where the echo is coming from. I don't have anything playing.
Is this better now? Oh, it's still sounding. I can hear it too.
Oh, you can hear it. I can't hear it. There's no echo on my end here. To be honest, there's no echo on my end here. Everything is just, you know, pitch perfect. I don't know where.
Okay.
Maybe your is your headphone too loud or something? I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm using an earpiece. Okay, so but I was saying about mentality earlier on that there's so many things you need to drop before you come to this country. You can't be homophobic in the public space, and especially you can't joke about people's religion. You can't make fun of people's differences, their disability. In Nigeria, we joke about disability a lot, you know, but you can't joke about those things here. The way you talk to people has to change in that sense. Also, Nigerians are not diplomatic. If somebody misbehaves, if your mouth doesn't say it, your face will say it. You can't be that way. So there's so many things you have to drop. The other thing also to note is that every culture is different, you know, and you have to realize that every culture has bad things and good things. The important thing is the bad things that we have in Nigeria, please drop it. Hold on to the good things. Come into the UK too. The good things in the UK, you can pick it up. The bad things that you see around, drop them. So, you know, the people in this country, for example, they like drinking. You may not be so much of a drinker, but you get to work and they'll say, we are going out to drink tonight. And you're saying, no, I'm not going with you because I don't believe it. I don't drink. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't work that way. You have to still go out and socialize. Nobody is saying buy beer. You can buy Coke, you can buy J2O, you can buy orange juice. But at least be part of what they're doing, socialize with them in that sense. So please, there are so many things you have to drop. And then also, the average Nigerian is extremely religious. We say things like, good morning, God bless you, it is well, bless you, you know. And if you say that in a workplace, people will look at you like, what's wrong with this one? Why are you saying God bless you to me? Or when somebody's saying,
they said the sound is better now. So
yeah, the echo has disappeared. I don't hear the echo anymore.
I went into the settings
Okay, thank you.
and canceled the echo, so I think we're good now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, good.
So many things that we say as Nigerians is part of our lingo. You have to change your lingo. You can't just say it's well to everything, or or all kind of funny things that people just try you choke, or you can't. Those things don't work in that sense. So all I'm trying to say is that there are so many mindsets you have to drop, and that wouldn't work here. And then the other thing about the average Nigerian is that we have a hustling mindset, which is another thing I will implore with anybody coming from Nigeria to the UK to please drop. The hustling mindset is very terrible, where you just want to do anything to make it. It doesn't work that way. You come into the country, they tell you can't drive until you do a driving test. And then the next thing you're thinking is, don't worry, my car, I'll just be driving. They will catch you. They will catch you. It's not, you're not different. Don't think your own is different. No, they will catch you. If the road says drive at 30 miles per hour, and then also in the UK, there are so many driving rules. The rules that you didn't even know about existed in Nigeria. So you have to do theory tests on a provisional license. They have to pass a practical test before you can get a full license. If you misbehave, they will give you points. And after having 3 points, you cannot drive anymore. So what I'm trying to say is that there are many, many, many rules and so many things you have to pick up as you go on the go. The schooling system is different from the Nigerian schooling system. It's not GSS1, GSS3, SS1, SS3, or it's different. It's school years. You have to learn things about your children, the school environment. You have to learn a lot of things. So your mindset should be that of adaptability and being able to learn new things. And let me also come to men. Men may struggle more than women struggle when they move abroad, because we men, we have strong egos. Our ego, we're like coconuts, very hard on the outside, but extremely soft on the inside. But because we don't want people to know we are soft on the inside, we still keep on holding on to this strong ego on the outside. When you come into this country, your wife becomes your partner. You may not have treated her like a partner in Nigeria. You may have the upper hand. You don't even stay at home. You come back from work. You're saying you're resting. You're tired. The same way if you have to went to work. It doesn't work this way. If I come home before my wife, I get into the kitchen. I start cooking dinner. If she comes home before me, she starts cooking dinner. When she's trying to cook on the week, I don't like cooking. My wife likes cooking. But I help her out still. I help her chop all the things before she starts cooking and putting them together when I'm free. I do tidying up in the house. You can't say I'm the daddy of the house. Why should I be tidying up in that sense? You have to do these things. Or men that don't engage themselves in their children's lives, you're not there. You're not physically just there. You finish work at 5 o'clock on the island. You go and hang out with your boys because traffic is your excuse. Jerry fish on the island, and then at 9 o'clock you now start making your journey back home to the mainland in K2 from Victoria Island. It doesn't work that way here in that sense. You can't be absent from your children's lives. Unfortunately, children are very funny. They'll go and say these things in school. Teachers are very, 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 very smart at asking them prying questions. They'll ask them, so how's your daddy? My daddy's not at home. My daddy is never. So the children will go and say, and they don't mean it in a negative way, but these teachers will pick up on these things. They'll call social services. Why is the father never at home? They don't ever see the father. So men may struggle more to adapt. And then also you have the challenges of life. You're trying to apply for a job, not getting a job after 3 months. Or you're doing a job you don't like. You want to move to a new one, or you're not promoted at the work you are. They're promoting everybody else, and you don't know what you're doing wrong. So you have all these frustrations. You have all these challenges. So when you come home, sometimes you just want to hear somebody telling you, go and clean the kitchen, go and do something. So I know those things exist, but you have to drop this mindset of, I'm the daddy of the house, I don't do anything. No, it doesn't work that way here. Everybody chips in to help everybody in that sense. And again, like I was telling you earlier on before we started this show, that if you're in a position where your wife is earning more than you, please, it's not a bad thing. It's a blessing. Like you were saying earlier on, I want my wife to take care of me. So I want my wife to be my sugar mom in my house. So if my wife is earning more than me, I give God glory. This is a miracle. I go and do Thanksgiving. I even do, and everything. So, don't get sucked up into that mindset of, I have to earn more than my wife, because your wife has been earning more than you for the past 3 years. Now start sabotaging her. You won't let her move forward when she wants to move forward. She needs help to do an exam. You need her to help you watch after the kids while she's going to study. And you say, me, they study. I'm going to church. I'm doing this and that. But no, don't sabotage your wife, because you're on the same team. If you guys are both winning, you're both winning. It doesn't matter who is earning more. My wife was earning more than me. My wife still earns more than me because she's a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but she earns more than me. But unless I tell you this, nobody on the surface knows. So please, don't get into that mindset of your ego telling you, my mom will say that prayer to me that, that's the prayer my mom prays for me. And it's a stupid prayer. I never say amen, because I want my wife to take care of me too. I'm tired of taking care of everybody. Let my wife take care of me too.
Wà lọ náwó sí mọ́tò tó bá fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí nǹkan náwó sí Range Rover.
Exactly.
Kí ló fi ń ṣèyàn? Mi ò wáyé ìpọ́njú o.
So what I'm trying to say is those are some of the mindsets you have to drop in that sense. If you're coming to this country, there are so many of them, like I said, but the thing is being adaptable. You will have things being thrown at you. You will have new neighbors, people you've not met before. You'll see all kinds of things, all kinds of people. Again, take it on board, drop whatever you have to drop and move on to the next thing you have to move on to. And then another thing I mentioned on Monday in my article was that, look, nobody's forcing you to have phone. That's another big problem I see with a lot of Nigerians. You come into this country and now next tomorrow, you're okay, you're right. Whatever your children will speak the phone on your behalf. In fact, they'll be correcting you after like 2 days. Telling you, it's not ambulance, it's not motorcycle, it's motorcycle. They'll start correcting you. So it's not a must for you to speak phone. Whatever you can say, please say. Just be clear. Speak slowly and be clear. Don't tabon, but at least be clear. But because nobody cares. It's like when an Igbo man is speaking Yoruba, we laugh at them because they sound funny. It's the same way. And then almost every region you go to in the UK has regional accents. So if you go to Newcastle, you may have a Geordie accent. You're trying to sound like a Geordie person. You will struggle. So please, there's no need for you to try and speak for net. It is not by force. If you live there for some time, eventually your tongue will change because you that's how you speak with everybody. When you go to Nigeria, people know that something has changed about your accent. But don't arrive last week and think by next week you'll be speaking any. Not necessary.
Good necessary.
No.
I think you missed out one part as well, which I want you to go back to. You didn't say anything about food.
Okay, so that's another big issue. Now, if you live in London, you might be slightly lucky because London is a cosmopolitan town, i.e., it's a melting pot of cultures. So you may be on a particular street where you see Indian food next to Chinese food, next to Indian food, next to Italian food, and all of that. And then you have African stores or even Asian stores that sell African food. So you'll find plantain. That's why most Nigerians cannot leave Southeast London. They want to live in Peckham, they want to live in Brixton, they want to live in Woolwich, because you will see all the things you need to find in Nigeria. So someone like me, I don't miss Nigerian food because once every 3 months I go to Peckham and I stock my fridge. I have a tall freezer and we just buy everything that we need there. You will find a core in Peckham. Or if you go on Thursdays or Wednesdays, you find everything there. So what I'm trying to say is that if you live in some other parts of town, if it's not like London, maybe somewhere you may not be that lucky to find things quickly, but you will struggle at the beginning too if you don't find those things, because trust me, English food is very bland. They will be talking about fish and chips or mince pies. You eat the thing like, like, there's rubbish. I know it's bland. So the thing is, if you're coming from Nigeria for the first time, whatever you can carry, please carry your ata, carry your crayfish, pack it very well, make sure that it doesn't have any smell, put it in Ziploc, put it in foil, because all those stupid police dogs at Heathrow may smell your bag and they may tell you to remove because it's a dairy product. But whatever you can carry your gari. The gari is of different grades in this country too. You'll see gari that when you put it in your mouth, stones will enter your teeth everywhere. So if you know someone that has fine gari in Nigeria, carry everything you need to carry. But trust me, you need to be able to find people who tell you where to point to sometimes, because when you just arrive, you will struggle with the food you find around here. You may not be at the power of what you understand, but again, be adventurous, try new things, try Italian food, try pizza, try this one and all of that. Whatever you can try, be adventurous. Eventually, when people come abroad, they want to burger, they want to eat everything, and then eventually you find things you don't like. Eventually you find that, okay, someone like me, when I first came, I wanted to try everything, chocolate, but we'll try it, but I just realized some things just don't work for me. It's too sugary, I'm getting older, I can't be taking all these fatty foods anymore, so I had to cut down eventually. So, and then don't also forget, you may not necessarily have so much money to throw around to be buying just anything. So it might be just best for you to find what works for you quickly and stick to it. I live in an area, like we were saying earlier on, I live in an area that is very white. The local shop to me is a Waitrose in that sense. Waitrose is very high-end shop. But it means that if I go to Aldi, which is like slightly more driving minutes, I'll find cheaper food to buy there. It's the same food, but it's just cheaper. Sometimes I was thinking, but I will not let class finish me and live in an area where there's expensive food. I'm trying to buy expensive by force when I can buy cheaper food in Tesco or Aldi or Asda in that sense. So you also need to know where to go and buy things from, because you might find that things in Asda may be cheaper than things in Lidl or things in Sainsbury's or whatever the case may be. So you need to shop around and look around until you find what works for you as your family.
Thank you very much. Already I have somebody on the call.
Okay.
But I'll be bringing her on shortly. I want us to get as much as possible through few things that we have to touch, and then I would allow I will allow calls. Okay, let's take this now because I think she wants to get on.
Okay.
Virtual landline.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening. You're through to the show.
Oh, hello. This is
Yes.
Rose.
Yeah.
So,
bro, can you hear?
I can hear. Yes.
Hello?
Okay. Good. Yeah. I'm
right.
asking if he can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
And hopefully everyone out there can hear me. Sherry or immigration comes on different levels.
Okay.
You see, a lot of people need to be very careful when they engage in things like this. Because if you fall maga into the wrong hands, they will tell you everything you need to hear and do everything you need to do. They'll do everything they need to do to get here. For those that are lucky, do you understand? Like the gentleman that I just spoke just now, do you understand? Is one of the reasonable ones. And we need to move away from this this era, do you understand, where we believe in gender divisive role or the man is the head of the house. And yes, I totally agree with him. Who doesn't want a sugar mommy? I know first because they go for and sugar daddy. Send him my way, but luckily for me, I've got a good man. And you know what? He's very, very understanding. And I don't know, I won't say I don't understand, but we need to demystify a lot of things.
Example.
Like, my parents, we need to demystify gender divisive role. Who is in the kitchen? Who does what in the house? The way we were raised up, we did the same thing. Do you understand? My brother will cook for a week. I will cook for a week. He will wash the bathroom for a week. My sister will do the laundry. Do you understand? We had a rota for the whole month. And it's kitchen back on say and it's on the back on So in that way, my mom set that rule from day one. Do you understand? And I do the same thing with my children. Like you need to be. They started with something called relationship and sexual health education. And one of the things that I say to him is about respect within a relationship. You need to help out. You can't say because she's a girl, she's the only one that goes into the kitchen. And the same thing goes for this thing they call about accent. You cannot discover accent in one day. Luckily, some people come in here.
She be married long by 16 years. I heard till Mole.
You speak correct English. Your accent does not matter. Speak correct English.
Even with accent.
Do you understand? You just speak normal. Do you understand? You don't have to have an accent. And discipline as well. And one thing again is humility. As Okuri, there's a lot of things you do not know. Same thing goes for Obirin. So only not money or record nylon bag. Money bleaking nylon bag. Plastic bag, you know. Only kidding plastic bag, nylon bag, take a money no to balo system to nylon bag You need to be humble enough to learn.
Yes.
You understand? You need to, and you know what? The people you're going to learn from are the children. They are the best teacher. Yes, I've been in this country God knows how long. Neighbor me. If you look for the meta or over Yishani. Only please, it's not even, it's oven. Money is it oven or oven? And it's oven. Oven. Money, I don't know. That thing you put something inside. Maya said, you understand? Well, I'm willing to learn. But she said to me, to the kid, you understand? I can't change it. I want to do 2 months, so do you understand? But the most important thing is put yourself, you know, the less you talk, the more you learn. But Sherry, what about Shady? So the best way for you to learn is by keeping quiet. When you keep quiet, you learn. You learn from people, you pick from this, you pick from me, but about sorrow. So they can't get one year experience to sorrow. You just make a fool of yourself. You make a fool of yourself. You make an idiot of yourself. My advice for somebody that has just arrived, for the first 1 year, you come over, you can sorrow. Does this person not talk? No, it's not because you can't talk. It's because you're learning. And the only way you can learn is by listening to those that are experienced. And it's not just from one person, from children. Do a lot more listening than talking. And if you don't understand, and I want to have ask. If you're confused about something, ask. And there's a lot of things that goes along immigration, you understand? Settling it, the environment is completely different. Òtútù lásán máa jẹ́ òsùn. Torí tí òtútù bá mú ẹ dé stage kan, ṣé mo kọ́ tó máa ń pè mí ní òtútù yìí ò ní pa mí o, òtútù yìí ò ní pa mí o. I don't do cold at all. Bí ṣe ń bá ń sọ yìí mo wọ socks. I've got socks on, I've got my jumper on, and the temperature in the room is about 25 degrees or 22 degrees. You cannot imagine when it's winter. So all I can say is when that time comes, you understand? Be humble enough to say, I don't know. If you're one of those people that you're too proud, keep quiet. Yeah, one day lórí ọ̀rọ̀ fúnẹ yìí, ó ti ń sọ fúnẹ mi ìmọ̀ bóyá American ni, mi ìmọ̀ bóyá English ni, but she just had this mixed accent that sounded like Australia. You know, Australia is a bit of English and America. Every people before I get the party. Can I have a biro, please? In copy before I get me. There's something called locally acquired foreign accent. Nafa long. Biro lásán ló bẹ̀. Who has for biro in UK? Can I have a pen? Biro is a brand. How many people know biro as a brand? There's biro, there's eleganza, there's God knows whatever. There is lady pen. You understand?
Madam, will be from Globe.
But one thing I want everybody is, if you come to, you got to know what have been so funny.
Anyone be from Globe.
Exactly. Money there is the eleganza, there's barrel, there's lady, eleganza.
Ati big.
Oh mama shegeni one lucky you by that you laugh for only lucky picking is the best quality. You understand? But the most important thing is just be quiet and listen and learn. When you're quiet, you learn a lot by listening to other people. Do you understand? Don't say things you don't know. You get your man take it too. And be humble. You see that ego that we have in Nigeria, that you're the man of the house.
You should drop it.
Like, just hang it there. Drop it there. Do you understand? Some people are lucky to have men, you understand, that are understanding. And I think I'm one of those people. My husband, you understand, he doesn't have that mentality, you understand, right from day one. We were equally raised, you understand. We grew up in the same neighborhood, like family friend. There's no gender divisive role. For sure. This person earns more than I do, you understand? My money is her money. His money is our money. It's not case of your money is my money, your money is our money, my money is my money. No, it's not like that. You have to be open and honest. UK actually man take it too. Nigeria only follow lady for 20 years. But already that everything is digital, everything is recorded. Do you understand? To make life easier for you, just be straight and honest from day one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just moving around is very, very difficult. Changing, relocating, adapting is difficult. Whatever you need to do, just make it easier for yourself and be honest and be ready to learn.
Thank you very much, my sis.
Don't let me take too much of your time.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much for the call.
All right.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Bye-bye.
Stay on the show. We're still here. Yes.
Can I quickly say one thing, actually?
Yes.
What this madam just touched on, which is cold. Now, if you come to the country in the summer, you are not better off because you are delaying your problem, your day of If you come in the winter, you arrive in the frying, you don't even frying pan in the freezer basically. But the thing about the cold that nobody tells you about is that everybody responds to cold differently. And that there are entry points for cold for everybody. For some people, it's their fingers. For some people, it's their ears. Some people, it's their chest. Some people, it's their feet. Someone like me, it's my fingers and my feet. So meaning that if I don't wear proper gloves and I don't wear what's called four-ry shoes, I will struggle. Now I may wear muffler my hairs, wear neck scarf, wear everything. I'll still be cold because I'm not wearing gloves on my hands. Even in the summer, my fingers are always cold. Talk more in the winter. So the earlier you realize this, the better you'll be. The first winter I suffered in this country, I didn't realize it was my fingers. I was just freezing at the bus stop. Nothing was working. I didn't realize it was my fingers that was the entry point until I figured out almost 3 years later. And then it took me almost another 3 years before I found the right kind of gloves that actually work for my fingers in that sense. So the earlier you know the entry point of cold, the more it saves you the problem of trying everything, buying air muffler, buying neck scarf, buying jacket upon jacket, and it's not working because you just don't realize that it was your feet. You're wearing shoes that are not properly insulated for cold in that sense. And obviously, another thing about culture shock that I was talking about earlier on is another thing people don't, especially in England. When we were younger, they would tell you summer solstice, longer days and shorter nights. You'd be amazed that sometimes in the summer at 10 o'clock at night, the sun is still up.
The sun, yeah.
And as early as 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning, the sun has come up. But then in the winter, it's the opposite. At 4 o'clock in the evening, it's already dark. I had a friend that visited and I said they should come and collect something from me, and he said, "Yeah, I'm also making money in your room." And it was just 4 p.m. So there's a lot of culture shock. There's a lot of environmental shock. And like the woman, like the madam that just spoke said, you just have to be humble and learn, be humble to not do gra-gra. I've had guests visit from Nigeria that didn't know how to use something in the house. Rather than quickly call me and walk to say, how do I use this thing? Start and everything. And something gets spoiled because they were not humble enough to ask. In Nigeria, we just rough it until we figure it out. It doesn't work that way. You may be successful, but to make life difficult for you in that sense.
What about people who have this idea about Amara UK? What do you have to say to that?
Again, everybody's different. Yes, so maybe some people man kora, and I will understand what they mean by that. But I think the problem is
like UK people.
No, it's not everybody in UK lo man kora. It's a case of we just don't get Nigerianness anymore. So we don't get. So and the people will say kini big the water no and everything. Now someone like me, but the thing is that different people will exist. In my house, for example, I don't pay money on pay as you go. I pay every month direct debit. So where I'm all day or not, they will take the direct debit. In either case, some other people pay money on pay as you go, meaning that £10 to card in the machine is counting down. So they'll be more bothered about somebody to turn on the or like I had a guest, my mother had a guest once to turn gas and we came back to the house. I was smelling of gas, to turn gas all day. So these little nuances of Nigerians and all of that, only they can't want your and they think on complain, but and don't complain, only if you complain. Why are you arguing with them? Why don't you just comply and do the right thing in that sense? A good example, you're staying in my house on holiday or you're just arrived in the country, and every night you want to call all your family members in Nigeria to tell them everything you did in the UK today. And I want to go and sleep because I took about 5 o'clock to leave the house very early. And then you're next door to me and you're talking on the phone till 2 a.m. in the morning because you don't have any work tomorrow. So if I complain, you say, me complain. I'm just telling you that I need to sleep in that sense. So maybe bring your volume down, or don't stay on the phone for that long, or call earlier before, not at the same time at 11 o'clock at night. The family will go to London because they're in London, and everything. So all I'm trying to say is that it's not necessarily about our UK and Kora. There are processes and things in place that most Nigerians don't know. And then when they keep telling you, all right, we won't complain, I had a family once I moved abroad to America, and my in-law was asking the person, can you plan? What be no plan? in that sense. But the person was asking out of a place of love, that what are your plans? What do you plan to do? What is your next move? But they didn't like it. So it's funny that it's because of our Nigerianness, where we are coming from, where we don't necessarily have all these things to think about or to worry about in that sense. I also understand there's no NEPA. All of a sudden you're here, there's NEPA around the clock. So you want to, my array and everything. And there's no generator noise. You can turn on anything. So I can get like all these changes. So it can be a lot being thrown at you from people that you stay with, and everything. Or it's UK, working for your low, please, enter lo ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn tó ti dúró sínú òtútù for the past 7 hours.
Tó ti lọ kọ́gbé arúgbó
exactly,
for 10 hours
in care home. So by the time you're asking the person for £50, if the person gives you £10, be grateful, because you don't know how hard it has been for them. If anybody even gives you anything, be grateful. And it's not only the Nigerians in the UK. Even the average Igbo person is not very generous naturally. £1, the Igbo person want to give you £1 back, so it doesn't owe you anything in that sense. So what I'm trying to say to you is whoever is listening to this is that UK it's just a circumstance of how life is wired up. Direct debits are staring at me every month without fail in that sense. After my direct debits have gone, after I've saved for my own future and family, no excess, so the extra to cool to attending to excess things I don't. So if you're lucky that I give you £100 because you're just new in the country, be grateful to God. It's not a normal thing. It's God has taught that person how to give you £100. So be grateful for that. Don't say £100 going for money. Now, but you don't know what the circumstance is. So UK people don't plan to be ounce or to be stingy. It's just a circumstance of the nation they live in. Everybody knows the bills staring at them every month. So yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. I'll quickly get to Yettis Kitchen now while my guest take a bit of rest and drinks water or juice or whatever is drinking again, or red wine. If I come back, or when I come back, I'm a scatterle, because aspect kan wà tó jẹ́ pé èmi personally ó ń gbé mi nínú, and we will touch it. I'm a rough it up. So I want you to stay on the show as we enter into that section. We've been a bit calm and easy so far, but I have to turn up the heat a little bit now. So I'll get to Yettis Kitchen, and when I return, we will go into this aspect I'm talking about. I'll be back. Yettis Kitchen.
A17 Vogue.
Yettis Kitchen, ilé oúnjẹ àrà ọ̀tọ̀ tó kalẹ̀ sílùú Manchester. Chilled out Afro and English fusion bar with great food, music, and movies. Serving the best fusion of African and English delicacies, be jollof rice, ewa agoyin, ẹ̀fọ́ rírò, jerk chicken, suya, ayamashi, goat pepper soup, burger lóríṣiríṣi àti àwọn ọtí ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe fẹ́ sí ni, eating, take away or delivery, gbogbo ẹ̀ ló bá wọn lára mu. Oríṣiríṣi ètò ìgbádùn ni wọ́n sì ń ṣe lọ́dọ̀ wọn, bíi movie night, live jazz music, game night, àti Lego play area for children to relax while you eat. Their opening times are Monday to Sunday, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Address one, 299 Liverpool Road, Eccles, Manchester, M300QN. Telephone 0161 706 0062 tàbí 074 603 53448. Ẹ tún lè kàn sí wọn lórí email wọn ní food@yettiskitchen.com. For more information, visit their website www.yettiskitchen.com. Yettis Kitchen, the best Afro-British restaurant in Manchester.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for staying with me on the show. Right, brother. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
We have a set of Nigerians here that are referred to as Ilelabo Semioko. That is what I call them. Ilelabo Semioko. When you meet them and you say, ẹ káàsán ma àbí ẹ káàsán sà, ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́, adẹ̀kú ọ̀rọ̀ lù ṣá, Ọlọ́run akúkú yó wa. á kéré oko délé mi ń pẹ́ màá ti move on. The question I ask myself is, where is home? Where is Ajo? To me, home is a state of mind.
Yeah.
It is where I am at peace. Where is Ajo? Where is home? We have so many people here who are neither here nor there.
Yeah.
They live miserable lives here because they are building some project in Ile. Ile that they only visit maybe once a year and spend only a week or two before they run back. Ile that has no security, no healthcare, no basic amenities, no security. Ile that they can't even adapt, as in àwọn ti kúrò tipẹ́, and they keep pumping their resources there. They keep pumping their resources here, and you see the condition they live here. Àmọ́ ò gbádùn, ìyàwó ò gbádùn, ẹni ẹ̀gan ò gbádùn ara ẹ̀, because they want to put something at home. Brother, where is home? Where is Ajo? What is really happening? Because I don't get it. I really, me personally, I don't get it.
Yeah. So I don't know if I know what the answer to where is home or where is Ajo is, but I think again it boils down to not having a plan. You ran away from Nigeria, you left Nigeria for a reason. Now, if your plan was to leave Nigeria for 10 years and come back after 10 years, it's understandable. But you've left with your entire family, you have said bye-bye, I'm not coming back anymore. So where else will home be? Home is the new place that you are right now with your children and your family. That's where home is. Ajo is just, living every day from day to day and making life work for you, basically. So I think it's a trap when people keep thinking about where they've left. You're trying to move forward, but you keep looking back. In that sense, it's a big trap. But the reason why that trap has a lot of incentive for many people is because they're changing pounds to naira. And when that pounds goes to naira, it becomes big money. So all of a sudden, the person that feels like they're not amounted to anything becomes a big boy in naira. In that sense, not only that, when you come from England with your fake funny accent and you go to Nigeria, you go and borrow money before you go to Nigeria, you go and buy new clothes, you go there, everybody's thinking, this person is living the life. So all of a sudden you feel special for 2 weeks. Whereas whenever you've been here, like you said, they're not enjoying their lives, they're just living dingy lives. So, all of a sudden you go to Nigeria now, you're feeling like a very, very big person. So that's the incentive for most people. But again, it's a trap. Where you live right now, you've left Nigeria, try and build your life here. What are your life goals? What are your family's goals? Do you want to send your kids to good schools? Do you want to buy a house? Start working towards those things. Now, the other problem is you are building all of these things in Nigeria, trying to build a house by every means possible without supervision. Even 120 families going to unsupervised things. Families can still swindle you and be diverting your money to their own personal projects. But let's even assume all went well, you're lucky. What assurances do you have that the kids you're trying to leave these things for will even go to Nigeria back again?
That's it.
They've been raised in the prime of their lives in the UK. Their thinking is already English. Their way of mannerisms of life is already English. They are not going to go back to Nigeria for any reason. They have British passports already over time. They're not going to go to Nigeria. They may eat Nigerian food, dance Nigerian music, support Nigeria football club, but that's it. They're not going to go to Nigeria. Even like you said, even you that are trying to pour your money in Nigeria, you cannot survive Nigeria past 3 weeks. You'll they want to kill me or you run back again. So it's a huge distraction to the progress and to the growth of your family. And where it also becomes sad is when you have men that don't carry their family along. They divert money from the family funds to Nigeria to do things because then they want to go and build a house in Nigeria. So the stories abound that you hear from here and there, but it's a big distraction. If you've left Nigeria and you want to make life work for yourself in the UK, focus on the UK. I will be gladder if you had investments in the UK that were making you hard income here, rather than thinking I want to go and build a house and do Airbnb in Nigeria by any means possible. Because truth of the matter is that whatever investment you have in the UK, and if they work in the UK, it's still pounds, a lot of strong money that you're actually earning in the UK. And let's also not forget, Naira is depreciating. So what assurances do you have that the £1,000 you sent to Nigeria to do something will still be the same value in terms of what you can do in the next 3 months? If there's a delay for any reason, all of a sudden you're short because £1,000 has changed. If you left, money in an account last year in Nigeria, and by this time last year, money has depreciated in value. So you have to be aware of all of these things, that where you are right now has a sense of security for your money, security for what you're trying to do. Nigeria doesn't have that sense of security. A new government may come in tomorrow and things will also go up again, or they may make rules, they may close the bank you've invested all your money in without informing anybody. So, but the security here, there are laws that protect your money, your income here, or whatever your investments are here. So I think it's just that distraction of, I'm not living my best life here because I didn't have a plan. Now I'm stuck and I'm just on rough and just doing anything I can do to get by. But when I take that my little roughing money to Nigeria, it feels like it's big money. So that's the incentive. You go there, you leave your family here, you go every Christmas, every layer, you go everything, you go and do big man there. Today. You don't need those things. Just focus your attention here in the UK. Obviously, in the UK too, you can also have distractions. I know people that every Saturday, without fail, they're at Owambe, they're in Lagbo, they are buying lists, they are buying all those things. There are people that live in that circuit, and I understand that they need that thing for their mental wellness. So I'm not going to slag anybody, but again, this is not Lagos where you're at Owambe every Saturday. This is the UK. You can find new things to do, new hobbies. Don't let your life just be watching AIT and channels every day, and Saturday you're going to Owambe. So that's my thinking. So Ile is wherever you are, wherever your family is, where your dreams and your aspirations are. That's Ile, in my own opinion. Right now, for me, Ile is the UK. The Englishman's house the Englishman's castle is his treasure. I don't know how that English adage goes, but whatever the case may be, this is where your treasure should be. Where your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. So if you put your treasure in the UK, your heart will be in the UK. But people are still putting a lot of their treasure in Nigeria. That's why they cannot stop looking back in that sense. And it's a drain. To go to Nigeria is expensive. Every time you travel to go and continue that project is expensive. Some people tell you they're doing business in Nigeria. I'm thinking in my mind, Nissan's business. You want to be selling car. You will not go and buy cars in the UK that are left-hand drive, and then you go to Nigeria, you want to go and convert them again.
And all those
or they'll say, I want to go to America to go and buy the car from America. I'm thinking, you don't even have any sense for business. You can't even sell clothes, stock more cars, or I want to build a sour cafe. So people just have all these funny ideas. But the thing is, there are many investment engines in the UK that will make your money grow over time anyway, that will make you be more comfortable in your retirement years. And but it's just down to, again, not having a plan before you arrived in the UK. But now you are here, start sitting down, observe the natives of the country. How do they live their lives? I was telling you earlier about how people in this country will be putting £50 into an investment fund every month for their children, each of their children. By the time those children are 18 years old, they have money to be able to go and put it down for a deposit. Now, your mama Onyibo will have one grandparent that will have paid mortgage off their house, that the grandma will now die. The grandma, they will sell the house, they leave an inheritance for Onyibo. So Onyibo don't far away, already has an inheritance sitting there waiting for them. When they want to buy a house, it becomes very easy for them. Not only
your
that,
own parents
your own parents are still asking you for what you have, So, and then think about Onyibo people that you met when you first came as a student. Every summer they will go to Ibiza, they will go to this place, to be raving and everything. You two will be joining them. You're not paying attention to what they are doing. While they're going to all of those clubs, they're networking, they're making friends. Because in 20 years' time, after the guy has wasted all his flower years, in 20 years' time, you think, wait a minute, I've wasted my flower years. I need to start doing business now. He wants to open a printing press. You will go and meet that his friend that was with Ibiza. That one is a bank manager now. They are both white. They are both friends. That one will give him a loan. You'll be saying, airports, thank God, business is doing very well. We made £10,000 this year. That £10,000 will be what that Onyibo person will make in 1 week or 1 day. So all I'm trying to say is that, you have to just put keep your ears close to the ground, open your eyes, watch what is going on around you. There are so many ways to make money in this country and to grow your money. If you actually ask the right people, go to the bank, speak to an investment person, go to the bank and say, can I speak to a financial advisor? This is my income. This is what I'm struggling with. How can I grow my money? How can I put a plan in place to save money? What things do you have? So ask all these questions. Most of these things are also free. They are free advice. You don't have to pay for the advice in that sense. So yeah, that's my submission about where Ile is.
Thank you very much. What about the argument of people who say, and they're doing all that because ibi ò dáa fún arúgbó? Pé téèyàn bá ti dé certain age, you have to go back because this place is not good.
But how and why?
Òtútù wà, èèyàn máa lonely, ẹ̀gbọ́n àmọ́ ti lọ, but when you are back home there, the weather is good, you have people around you and things like that. That's some people's argument because gbogbo wàhálà tó ń ṣe yìí, wọ́n sọ pé it's because they want to go back at certain time or age or whatever thing like that. Show value.
Cool. Well, in my own opinion, it can be valid for some people, but if you're going to do that, I will expect that you have a very serious plan for your retirement. You want to retire in Nigeria. In that sense, don't also forget, living in the UK doesn't make you age as quickly as you want. That's why there's a lot of arugbos in this country. Everywhere you turn, you see arugbos everywhere because the UK forces you to be independent. You have to go to the shop yourself. You pull your trolley yourself. The moment you get to Nigeria, even if you're a 60-year-old person or a 50-year-old person, they will age you overnight because all of a sudden everybody's doing everything for you. So. But that's even another argument. To answer your question about, here, there are so many things put in place in this country for the welfare of elderly people. Their care homes, people pay for installment, people pay plans every month preparing for their care home, people pay for their funeral, people pay for their will, what will happen when they die. So you can pay these things in advance. And these care communes, also care communes where old people of like-minded elderly people live together. So there's no sense of loneliness. Now, if you want to go into Nigeria to go and retire, you have to have money. And then also make sure that your children are on board, because if your children are not going to be there for you, who is going to care for you in Nigeria when you go all of a sudden by yourself? In Nigeria, you left 20 years ago. You don't know anybody anymore. You don't have any street sense anymore. People just be swindling you left, right, and center in that sense. Yeah,
someone said now that people are scared of going into care homes.
Yeah, again, it's the stories you've heard. When I first came to this country, everybody I met, they were either doing security or care or phlebotomy. That was only three. Those are the only three jobs I knew. So if I wasn't a musician that was playing music, I'll have fallen into one of those categories. But the stories I heard from all of these people working in care homes was Akogbe, Ashele, and everything. At the end of the day, it's not always that way. People in care home are elderly, so they will have medical ailments or whatever the case.
That comes with age.
That comes with age, but it's not always in every care home. That's what I'm saying. You have to plan. You have to research the care homes that are good. There's there's a city that I can't remember what city it is now that has a care community where elderly people just live in that community alone. There are so many houses I see where I live around here where they only rent out to elderly people. So the thing is, if you plan ahead and you start asking these questions, there's no need to fear going into a care home. It's called a care home because they provide care. It's nothing. There's no big deal about it. Most people that go to care homes, they can still do anything they want to do during the day and they just go back home and sleep at night. But at least you are sure that you have the sense of community there. And then the reason why care homes exist in this country is because people don't have relationships with their children. So in their old age, nobody will take care of them. The child leaves home at 18, doesn't look back anymore. We are not wired that way unless you get it wrong with parents and your Nigerian children that you've raised, they become like both children. But if you get it right, your children will not neglect you in a care home in that sense. They'll still come and look for you. In fact, more importantly, why don't you plan to be in a position where you can actually buy a house when you retire from work near to where your children live, so that in that case your children don't start thinking about nanny or anything. You can help them take the children. I have Indian friends. They are Indian parents. I have a particular Indian family that is our friend. The parents bought a house on a particular road and they continue to encourage the children until they all bought houses on the same road. The mom will take the children to school in the morning when they've all gone to work in the city, and the mom go and pick the children in the afternoon and cook for them. When they come back from work, they go and pick their children from their mom's house. But that's what Igbo people do. They support their children. Actually, the ones that are still in touch with their children. So why don't you be the parent that wants to leave something for your children? You've been invested in their future. You want to be involved in their lives and everything. But again, all their lives, like most Nigerian fathers will have been. It's not when you get older you want to start getting involved in the children because you don't know them anymore. They don't also know you. And again, I've had this conversation in the past about mothers escaping their marriages to go and do Omugo abroad. And that's the only way they can escape this terrible husband they've had for so many years. So they will go abroad. So the thing is that you now that you're in England, just arrived in England, start engaging yourself with your children, start investing into them, play football with them on Saturday, take them to the park, tell them stories about how you grew up in Nigeria. They may not understand what you're saying, but at least they will remember those memories so much so that when you get old, they will still want to be around you. They want to bring their children around you so grandpa can tell them the stories. Grandpa taught me how to ride a bicycle. Your grandpa taught me how to do this and everything. So involve your children in your lives, which is what most Nigerian fathers are not wired to do by default, living in Nigeria. And again, I'll say something very controversial, but the Nigerian environment allows for bad behavior in men to thrive. I always say this everywhere, so I will say it. Badly behaved men will thrive in Nigeria because the system and environment allows you to thrive. But when you come into the UK, you have to be more engaged. You can't be badly behaved, especially towards your children. Wife is another story for another day, but at least your children, you need to engage them, to carry them along with your life, because when you become old, that relationship will sustain you. So whether you're in a care home or you've rented a house close to them or you bought a house close to your children, it's that relationship that will carry you guys along, and they'll appreciate the fact that their dad or their mom is nearby them. They can always call on you to say, oh, something has come up, can you help us care for the kids and everything? And it's just enjoy that part of your life.
And quickly, this one just crossed my mind now. What about people who will die here, right? And they will insist, maybe before they die, that they have to be taken back home to be buried. Come by, listen me. And you know the cost. One of the things,
yeah.
So there was a day I called my wife and I was telling her that Ọ̀gbẹ́ni tí n bá dágbére o, ẹ gbé mi lọ bí tó ti ń sùn, just ẹ bọ́m mi, kẹ̀ pín ashes yẹn láàrin wọn, tó bá fẹ́ bù ń bẹ̀, tó bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ bá ń pín fáwọn boys. Kẹ̀dẹ̀ move on. Don't call anybody to come and chop puff because nígbà mo ní problem mi rí wọn o. Wọ́n láwọn bá yín dárò, ẹ gbé puff wájú wọn, wọ́n mu meat pie, wọ́n mu drink. Don't incur any cost on top of me. Mo ti lọ. You understand? So what about people who will insist pé irọ́ o, eléyìí ni kí ẹ lọ sinmi sí, and you know the cost of transporting.
Exactly. So to take a dead body to this country
in that circumstance.
So it's down to the children of the person. Unfortunately, it's something that you can't give a straight answer to because everybody is wired, every family is different. Especially when the spouse may still be alive. But endo tuku, the person that is dead is dead. You know, they have no feelings and everything. You may want to respect the wishes of your parent and take them to Nigeria, but what you may also find is extremely expensive to fly a corpse to Nigeria from the UK. It's thousands and thousands of pounds. I think about 12,000 pounds or thereabout. So that's just to fly the dead body. You're not talking about the ceremony in Nigeria on the other side. You know, my own philosophy is wherever you die, just be buried there. Simple as ABC. But like I said, every family is different. It's a dicey conversation to get into, but it's down to the children. If you can't afford it, again, back to planning. Like I was saying, I had a friend that lost her mom early last year. They didn't pay one kobo for the burial. The mom knew she had cancer and she had been paying it. She had been paying over time. She had sorted out her hearse. She had sorted out a coffin, down to the flowers on the coffin. She had done everything. The children didn't pay one kobo for any of those things. Obviously, fine, the entertained people had to pay for all of that when people came around them. But the thing is that people in this country plan. There are funeral homes in this country for a reason. So people plan in advance. So it's because most people don't plan. That's why all of a sudden they put all this pressure on their children.
And then we hate speaking about death.
About death. So you tell your mother, Mom, have you done a will yet? Mommy, she will, you know. That's what they said. That's what they'll say to you. You know, you want to kill me and everything. You want me to die. But the thing is, it's not about you dying. You know, when people die, a lot of things happen. You know, there's a lot of confusion in the family. There's a lot of pressure on everybody. Everybody is chipping in one suggestion or the other. But if you had a will that I said, this is what my wishes are, it makes it life easy for everybody. For better still, if you've made plans for your retirement or your what's the other thing now? Your death. It makes life also easy. You know, and it's not too early or too late to make a will. But the thing is that Nigerians don't plan by default, you know, on the Nigerian continent, and then you bring that same mindset into this place where there's nothing about talking about death. Everybody will die one day. Death is not our enemy. Death is just an end. When everybody will die, I don't know. Fortunately for me now, I'm over 40, meaning that I will soon start having friends that will start dropping like flies and everything. So, you know, I don't know the day. So all I'm trying to say is that these things will happen, whether it's 20 years time, 40 years time, 50 years time, 60 years time. And one should not be afraid about talking about death or thinking about what will happen in the future. Start paying, you know, and somebody said life insurance. Yeah, life insurance is another thing people don't take advantage of. If you have children, think about life insurance. What happens to your family if you die tomorrow? Again, we'll say, oh, no, die in Jesus. It's not my portion in Jesus' name. But it's one of those things that will happen, you know. So those are my thoughts in that sense, that people need to respect the wishes of families. If the family has decided they want to go and bury their father in Nigeria because their father said so and they can't afford it and they go and borrow money, it's up to them. But if you were asking my personal opinion, I would say, no, do what you can afford. Do what your muscle can carry, you know. So that's what I probably will say.
Thank you very much. And one last question before I allow you to go, because I've taken extra 15 minutes now from your time, and I hope you will pardon me. it's that aspect of settlement, regularizing one stay. So don't forget, like you mentioned earlier, people coming with different visa options: student, spousal visa, work permit, and things like that. And some even come with visitors visa, and at the end of the day, decide to stay. Now, what I often come across is people not seeking the right counsel. So somebody has immigration issue.
Yeah.
Church in one law. One law pray. Pastor ten pray lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀gàn. Do you know pé wetin ẹ̀gàn wà lọ́dọ̀ lawyer? Tí wọ́n tí bá gbé wọlé because owó application fee ò tí pé. So, and some people have heard all kind of useless talk from, people who are not qualified to give such advices, and tó ti da ayé wọn rú, and up till now wọ́n rí tó. And some people wọ́n ṣe oríṣiríṣi shortcut, there was a time jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn ń lo different ọ̀nà and everything. Shortcut yẹn di long cut mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́. So in terms of, yes, even both when student visa now, it's tier 4 visa, which at some point would expire. To buy technically to buy the Paris way, So I came with a student visa, and I went through the process from student to post-study work visa, from there family and things like that. Mo citizenship. So what do you have to say to people in this regard? You mentioned earlier that there are length of time attributed to each part to gbawa. Ẹlòmíì wọ́n á sọ fún ẹ pé route yìí 5 years ló máa take ẹ, route yìí 7 years, route mi wà kàn máa renew every 5 years títí tá a fi pé báyà bí 10 or 15, route mi wà 20 years. So when it comes to, yes, àti wọlé, àti patch up life and stuff like that, but visa tá a gbé wá ti fẹ́ tán, kí ni ká ṣe? What do you have to say to people about it?
So I'll say that whatever you do, make sure you go to Law Society's website. Just type Law Society into Google. And on that website, you can search the postcode of the area you live and find a lawyer whose name is on the Law Society website. People will tell you, "Momo lawyer coin, no one lawyer know this." If whatever lawyer asks for their firm, type their firm into there, because you'll find that a lot of people that are claiming to be immigration lawyers in the UK don't even have any registration with the Law Society. Meaning that if you're
McDonald's
exactly, and some of them will even go to churches to go and sell themselves as lawyers and everything. So all I'm saying is that if you put an application with such a person, because they don't have any registration with the Law Society, already the Home Office is going to flag application as this one is just jokers and everything. So you need to do your research. If your visa is a 2-year visa, don't wait until 3 months when the visa is about to renew before you start making plans. When you've gone through the house, exactly, and you become an overstayer.
Exactly.
So once you're halfway through your visa term, if you need to renew your visa, you've been given a tier 2 visa, for example, you need to renew it every 2 years until it clocks 5 years for indefinite leave to remain. Once you're in midway through your first year visa, you need to ask yourself, what are the requirements for renewal? Go to gov.uk, type in your tier visa there. Type in renewal, search for renewal there. They will always state all the requirements or things you need to meet, financial requirements, things, maybe work hours, your contract and everything. And then you need to start working towards those things. So if they expect you to actually have, say, £3,200 in your account that has been there for the past 3 months that you did not touch, if it means you need to go and borrow money from your friends now between now and December of next year, when the thing will be ready, start borrowing the money in small bits and start putting it somewhere, because eventually you need to show that you have that money for sustenance for them to go to renew your visa. And that's in addition to the visa fees itself for you, for your dependents, for your children, in addition to immigration lawyer fee too. So there's a lot of money to think about in advance. But if you wait till last minute before you start planning, like Nigerians will say, it will choke you in the neck. So plan in advance. And then also, if you're in a visa category where you need to switch to a new category, something called switching, where you're a student visa now, you want to switch to post-study work visa, the requirements will be different. So you need to actually know what the requirements for the new place you're switching to, or maybe you're in a particular tier, you need to move to a different tier. Now, the thing I need to also say is that if you have money, you'll be amazed how you can the shortcut you're looking for, just be a millionaire, be a dollar or Dangote.
Yes.
There are visas for people that they have visa categories for people that they call them maybe I can't remember the exact name, but it used to be one about investment visa. If you can bring in £250,000 into this country and you can employ at least 5 people, they will give you that visa tomorrow. And that visa, in less than 3 years, you become a British citizen. So if you have that kind of money, then good for you. God bless you. Just apply for that and open a business and all of that. But most people don't usually have that kind of money. So you need to keep thinking ahead, 2 steps ahead. What's the next move for me? I need to clock 5 years. We need to, before I can actually apply for indefinite leave to remain. And then when you're applying for indefinite leave to remain, they will still check things and everything. So you just need to plan in advance. But whatever you do, if you need, always seek immigration advice. Again, I can rough it, we can cut it, fill form and everything. But I think it's always good to seek immigration advice because Nigerians already have a bad rep with Home Office. So once they see a green passport, they see another Ade, another Olu, another Emeka, there's a tendency that they may think, you are guilty or you are proven innocent. So it's best to always use a lawyer. A lawyer is representing you. The things you did not see, your blind sides, the lawyer will notice from your application. Things I didn't think about, the lawyer will be able to advise you. They will tell you what you need to prepare and how early you can submit the application, how early you should be preparing stuff and everything. So that's what my advice will be to anybody. And unfortunately, unless you leave the country and go and come in through another, that's the thing. People will tell you, it doesn't work that way. Again, like I said, the English people like money. As long as, and they have your records already, so they already know you're already here. So if you leave and you can come back in via a legal means, you get somebody that wants to employ you and they will sponsor. There's something called a visa category that is called sponsorship visa, and they know that they will sponsor you, and there's already proof that they will sponsor you. They'll let you come in. Thankfully, to the Tories too, now there's been a lot of leniency with immigration rules. Before the Tories came in like 3 years ago, before Priti Patel, there were so many. It was just very, very hostile to immigrants. But now there's a lot of lax. They brought back post-study work visa. It was never there before. There are so many things that are bringing back, visas for doctors, all this kind of things. So what I'm trying to say is that there are so many ways to do things legally. You don't have any reason to do things illegally. But if you plan and you prepare your life in that direction to make it easy for you to be able to make those changes.
Thank you very, very, very much, brother. You've been a wonderful guest. And to be honest, like I told you, you are my first guest on this show, and we haven't started badly, and this is an encouragement for me to look for want to Joko like yourself, to bring on the show and bless my people, So thank you very much for taking time. I know you should be in bed by now to join me on this show. I really, really, really appreciate you. I would not want to keep you more than necessary, So Kumadin Mama Blue chancing me because I have the mind of bringing you again, and this time around we will be focusing on another topic which I know you can also deal with ruthlessly. So Kimawa fi ele kí n fi bára mi jẹ́, wọ́n ní adìyẹ tó ń yàgbẹ́ sínú kòkò ọbẹ̀ kò mọ̀ pé lè gbẹ̀yìn òun lòun ń bàjẹ́ yẹn. So kí n má ba ọ̀la mi jẹ́, let me release you now. You've done your bit, and then only God can reward you. Onídùúró mi ló máa yanjú ló máa yanjú yòókù. Èmi ò ní agbára kankan. I hand you over, I commit you over into the hands of my Oniduru. He will sort you out, and your life will not remain the same. Thank you very much, and I know my listeners on this show really, really, really appreciate you. If you have any last word or parting words you want to drop for people, I've had private messages have been coming in, and I have somebody that expressed concern like, this conditions, and mo ń try láti ọ̀fẹ́ ni pé irọ́ kò le tó yẹn pé má ti rò yẹn sìn, when you start thinking that, then o ti ní mental block already. So if you have any last words you want in terms
of parting words, what I'll just say to your listeners to thank you for tuning in is that please don't don't run another person's race. When you arrive in this country, people will tell you all kinds of things. People, even before you arrive, people will tell you all kinds of things. Don't form a perception of how things will be, and start running your own life on another person's race. Basically, if somebody tells you something, research it. Don't just take it. Don't just swallow it, hook, line, and sinker. Go on Google, type it into Google. Find a phone number you can actually call them and ask them about what the person has said in that sense. So and then also be full of faith that things will work for you. If you come thinking things will be hard, then you've already, when I first came to this country, I used to tell my wife when I just came to this country years ago as a single man, I would say, I don't like this country, me, like you do. But then it dawned upon me one day that if I keep saying I don't like this country, how will this country work for me?
You won't.
It won't work for me in that sense, And then finally, you can only go as far as you're exposed to. If you continue staying in dingy areas, you won't see beyond your nose, and that's how everybody roughing it too. If it means moving from the area you are to a new town entirely, to a different environment, it gives you a fresh perspective. If it means changing careers, don't be afraid to start over. I was a self-employed person for over a decade. I had to start over in 2014 again. My salary dropped to a very low salary, but I've been able to build my career back up in a different direction because I was thinking forward, that where I was, there was no upward mobility anymore as I wanted it to be. It wasn't working. I was humble enough to admit to myself that this is not working. Life is not working as I planned it out to be. I need to move in a different direction for the sake of my family, for the sake of my future in that sense. So don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to learn new things. And finally, explore the UK. You may not be able to travel to Nigeria as much as you want to, but you can take a train to Manchester. You can take a train to, just go on the map, look for a funny place. Well, Bristol. Just go to Bristol.
Not shift all the time.
Take a break from work one weekend. And if you can drive, if you are driving already, just go on the motorway, drive to Bristol with your family, stay in a hotel, one or two rooms with your family. Just explore the UK. You'll be amazed that there's so many beautiful things in this country. So many things you will learn. Go to museums. Don't say kilo walk a long way. Go and look at all those things, because you are new in the country. The experience I have gathered from talking to people over 20 years, the cultural awareness I have of the UK. When you want to naturalize in this country as a citizen, you do a test called life in the UK test. That test tells you a lot of things about English history, the Magna Carta, all those kind of things. But those things you can learn by watching TV shows, documentaries, going to museums, and learning the culture of the land. Because again, you might go for a job interview and they just start talking to you about random things. You don't want to be the person that doesn't have any idea what they're talking about. In that, and they're thinking, they will tell you the person doesn't have team fit. They will keep telling you team fit is zero. What it means is that they feel like you can't blend. I went to go and apply for a job once. When I entered the room, they gave me crayon and pencil. Crayon and paper, and I said, okay, and they said this part of the interview, just draw anything you see, anything that comes into your mind, draw it on paper. I'm thinking, okay. So I sat down there and I drew boats, I drew sea, I colored it blue, drew a boat on it, put sun in the sky, and did everything. And then the guys came back and they said, okay, explain your reason. I said, well, I feel like I need to go on a holiday, and that's what I can see, and everything. And we just laughed at that and we continued working. Now I got the job. When I got the job, the place where I was working, I was telling them I was leaving, and the person said, one guy said to me, oh, so where are you going to? Oh, I'm going to Rackspace. Oh, Rackspace. I interviewed for Rackspace, so I didn't get the job. I said, why? But you're good. He said, no, they said I was not a good team fit. In fact, that in hindsight, he realizes why he didn't get the job. When he went for the interview, they gave him crayon and said he should draw something, and I kept on arguing with them that I'm not an artist. Why you ask him to draw? I didn't come here to come and draw. I came here for an interview. So they said, no, just draw whatever comes to your mind. And he said he didn't draw anything. He was really showing them that I'm not here to waste time. I'm not here to play. I'm here for an interview. Already down as well. That you're going to be a difficult person. We cannot work with you. So all I'm trying to say is that don't be rigid. Where we come from, we can be very, very rigid. I'm a redeemer. I'm an MFM. I don't go out. I don't go to pub. They'll never see me in the pub in Jesus' name. I should not be calling you unbelievers. You will see all this funny thing. But the thing is that you can, like I said earlier on, you can go to the pub and drink orange juice. A pub is just a building. You can drink orange juice. Nobody's saying you should drink beer with them. They'll even make fun of you and you joke about it. Like, just don't drink. They'll tell you, is it because you're a Christian? Is it because of health reasons? They'll ask you funny, stupid questions. But just go there, because you'll be amazed that promotions happen in the pub.
Yes, it does.
Promotions don't happen because you are working extra hard. The person that doesn't do anything at all is already the party of the boss at work. Because they talk in the pub, they smoke together every couple of minutes, and they're talking about a new opening that is coming up. If you go to that same pub, this guy, they'll be telling you about things going on that you don't really know. Office politics happens in the pub. So don't be the guy that will finish work and say, I'm going home. And everybody's saying, no, they're going out for socials, for drinks. just go with them. You may not be there for the next 10 hours, be there for 1 hour and leave, but interact with people and everything. So you can succeed. That's why I'm actually going. It don't come with the mindset of there are many rules. No, everybody learns rules. You know, when you first arrived in most of us that didn't grow up in Lagos. When I first arrived in Lagos, my first thought was, how will I know all these roads? When I first came to London again, when I was starting to know tertiary roads in Lagos, and I came to London again, my first thought was, how will I know all of these roads? At the back of my head now, I know almost everywhere in West London. It's because over time I've been going to all of this. So in the same way, when you come to this country, you have the opportunity to learn so many things afresh, and you will adapt very. In Nigeria, Nigerians learn things quickly. You know, so there's a lot that you can actually achieve in this country, and you can succeed and you can win. So don't come with the block mindset of
I shall. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my people. Oh yeah, bro. See my love bullet. Emma smash the button yensin for my guest tonight. He's been really, really wonderful. And somebody made a comment earlier that voice sexy die. I'm not sure you saw the comment.
The person needs to behave.
Me, one of my Jesus babies, you know, so I'll handle her, don't worry. You know, I'll handle her.
I know her.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. Anyway, she just confirmed, and she didn't join when I made mention of your voice, but she came in and confirmed it. So anyway, thank you very much for having me on the show, and my regards to Madam Dr. Femo, for allowing you to be out of bed at this time. So I'll release you now to go and handle stuff. And then you cool later. But I commit you into the hands of my only Duru. You will stand and not falter. Thank you very much, my brother.
Okay. Good night.
I'll see you again. You're definitely coming back on this show, so but we will talk about that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
You too. God bless you. Yes, thank you, my people. Thank you for staying on this show. It's been wonderful tonight. I really, really enjoyed myself, and I'm 100% sure that I did not disappoint you with the guest I had on the show tonight. I'm sure you heard him that he's fully loaded, and he came really, really correct. So he's been very truthful with his information and analysis. He hasn't held anything back, and he hasn't said anything to dampen the minds of people who might want to make this move. But Oda Kegboru àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ báyìí, so that you will know what to expect, and then you can plan yourself against any of these pitfalls. Thank you very much for hanging out on the show. And lastly, I'll get to Yettis Kitchen and Tabak Padade. I'm a dagbere fún Rawa. Mo ń padà bọ̀. Engineer, bá mi yí sókè.
Playing from A17 Vault.
Yettis Kitchen, ilé oúnjẹ àrà ọ̀tọ̀ tó kalẹ̀ sílùú Manchester. Chilled out Afro and English fusion bar with great food, music and movies. Kò sí oúnjẹ tẹ́ fẹ́ tẹ́ ò bá lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Serving the best fusion of African and English delicacies bíi jollof rice, ẹ̀wà àgànyìn, ẹ̀fọ́ rírò, jerk chicken, suya, ayamase, goat pepper soup, bọ́gà lóríṣiríṣi àti àwọn ọtí ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe fẹ́ sí ni, eating, take away or delivery gbogbo ẹ̀ ló bá wọn lára mu. Oríṣiríṣi ètò ìgbádùn ni wọ́n sì ń ṣe lọ́dọ̀ wọn bíi movie night, live jazz music, game night, àti Lego play area for children to relax while you eat. Their opening times are Monday to Sunday, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Address one, 299 Liverpool Road, Eccles, Manchester, M300QN. Telephone 0161 706 0062 tàbí 074 603 53448. Ẹ tún lè kàn sí wọn lórí email wọn ní food@yettiskitchen.com. For more information, Visit their website www.yettiskitchen.com. Yettis Kitchen, the best Afro-British restaurant in Manchester.
mo dúpẹ́ òkun lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá mi ṣètò lálẹ́ yìí. Thank you very much for hanging on the show with me. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Elédùbàrì, ọba tó fún mi lóhùn tó ní kí n máa wí. Ìbà ọba tó ní kọ́kọ́rọ́ ọjọ́ lọ́wọ́ òjí kùtùkùtù faṣọ lábora ọba mi jìnwìnjìnwìn ìlẹ̀kẹ̀. Agbọ́n ré kọjá ọgbọ́n, ìbà ọba náà tí kì í bẹ́nikẹ́ni ṣàpapín ògo, ọ̀ọ̀ni àgbà tó ní gbogbo lẹ̀kílẹ̀. Títí ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ tá ó tún máa pàdé, ire àti ayọ̀ àti àlàáfíà la ó tún fi ríra wa o. Thank you and God bless you. Ó dàárọ̀.
I'm making time for